Hi, what's up? I'm Andre from the YouTube channel Black Nerd Comedy, Eddie, the Blue Ranger on Power Rangers Hyperforce, and you're watching Power Rangers Action Activate.
Greetings and welcome to this live edition of Action Activate. I am Gazbot, and if I am Gazbot, Bullens, flip.
Hey, it's me.
It is
no
the big
intro
Dawg
necessary.
My light is being weird. I'm going to try to turn it on again. Oh, look there. Now I have better lighting. Go. Okay. Hopefully we won't hear any sounds. So this is Action Activate. We talk about Power Rangers and such things, and we've been going over SPD. And when we don't, we're doing like theme stuff. But this week, we don't really have a theme. We are just, my light is being weird again. You tell them what's going on while I fight my light.
Hello. So today is our live show. We do these every once in a while to kind of get some Q&A going, get the conversation going live as opposed to in our YouTube comments or Facebook posts or things like that. Right now, we have a couple people saying hi, Alexander and the gang and Matt Kendall Claire. Hello, hello. But in terms of today and just kind of Action Activate as a whole, one of our running themes is we kind of just, roll with the punches. Gazbot has a light, it doesn't work. We have a live show, now. It kind of goes. Like, things happen. So,
submission.
Yeah, so yeah. What's up, Gazbot?
Nothing much. Well, actually, I will tell you what's up. I got a late birthday present in the mail recently. From my good buddy, the Big Dog. It is Zeo Tommy Red. I love this figure. This is one of the suits. The Zeo suits I didn't really love originally. I was like, oh, those are kind of lame, and I was good. But over time, I don't know if I got older or like what, but I like them a lot more now. The gold piping and the star, and this one is my favorite. And not even because it's Tommy, but just the design is very cool. He comes with the sword like he's supposed to. The gun has a nice little blast effect. He's a really, really good figure. The Tommy head, however. It's a mediocre likeness. It's not horrible. It's not great. It's got the long hair version, but as I already told the Big Dog, he has like a lobotomy shave for some reason on half of it. They're getting ready to go in there and reprogram him or something. So the good news is I don't plan on displaying him with this head, so it doesn't really matter, but it is unfortunately more proof of the poor quality control, specifically in paint, that the Lightning Collection continues to experience.
Yep. Yeah, that's a running theme. I know we were talking as well, speaking of the Lightning Collection, that you were talking to Hasbro support a little bit where you were getting your Dino Thunder white head, but also you were talking to them about your Psycho Green 2.0 that you were having issues with that. And they're like, we have it in stock, but not for you, but we'll give you a figure, just not this one that's in stock.
It hasn't shown up yet. Yeah, the white Dino Thunder head was pretty easy. They said, we'll send it right out. Now, I haven't opened mine. I don't know why, but I've been like, well, until I get the head, I shouldn't open it, which makes no sense. But I just decided that in case, honestly, because in case I couldn't get the head, I thought I might sell it or return it because that's how much it bothers me. But the Psycho Green, yeah, I had one and I sold it and then I regretted it. And I bought another one that had bad paint, which I showed. And yeah, they are supposedly sending me a whole new free Lightning Collection figure. So it's weird that you're not going to replace Psycho Green when it seemed to be in stock, but whatever. I will say Hasbro in general has good customer service because I'm getting the Lightning Collection figure for free. I'm getting the head for the white Dino Thunder Ranger like everyone should be. And also, this is going back a ways, but I'm a Hasbro Pulse Premium member, and I did it back when it was free. Like if you ordered something, you got it free. So I've had it free for over a year at this point. And I go back and forth on if it's worth it. But one of the things is we went to San Diego Comic-Con last year, the Big Dog and I was supposed to get into this exclusive party. Like it was like, a Hasbro premium new party thing. And they're like, oh, just sign up here. And I did it like right away. And they got a confirmation. They sent me a ticket. They're like, yeah, you're coming to that special Hasbro party. You're one of the elite few. I'm like, oh yeah. Then I got there and they're like, you know what? We made a mistake. and we sent out too many invitations. So I was upset and annoyed. But immediately, without me complaining, they're like, "Here's a $100 gift certificate for anything on the Hasbro shop." And I was like, "Okay, that I'm not mad at all anymore." So
here's $100 for you,
right,
and sorry.
Yeah, that's a pretty good apology. So even though I agree that there have been problems with the paint apps in the Lightning Collection, generally I still support Hasbro as a company because they support the product and they do their best to make me happy. So we got something. Alexander the Gang reviews. Actually, I forgot I could pop these up. How do I do that? Yeah, there we go. I agree. It's strange that Marvel Legends is fantastic looking, fantastic, but Lightning Collection can't get it straight. Yeah, here's what I'll say though. They've been doing Marvel Legends a lot longer, and Star Wars as well. And some of the early stuff in those, they had problems too. Maybe not the exact same type of problems. So I'm hoping it's a thing where even though it's Hasbro, maybe it's a new division or something, and they'll work at the kinks, because the figures that are good are really good. You know, it's not like I don't see this is like a year one product. I don't see in 10 years going, oh my, remember how terrible this was? Like, this is good. It's going to stay good. You know, the Tommy head is the only thing they could improve upon.
Yeah, the thing for me, and I think with everybody else, is obviously the quality control, and then just like the little things that they choose to pass through like as finished, where like Dino Thunder White, you could have avoided the situation if you said, "Hey guys, is there something wrong here?"
I really thought it was going to be the first wave, like the first couple people that got them, they'd be bad, and then it would be like corrected on the. But like, seems like no one has got one in package that was corrected.
Yeah, and obviously this year has a lot of curveballs with that, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. There's a lot of things that have been done on some of these figures where it's like I don't really know.
I think they're having more good than bad. I still think it's more good. Like, I've seen videos of certain people being like, "I'm done collecting Lightning Collection, and here's why," or "I'm selling all my Lightning Collection, and here's why." I don't feel like that. I did decide to not be a completionist for a variety of reasons. Honestly, it had less to do with the paint apps and things like that, and more to do with space and money, and the fact that I don't actually need every single figure. And I have other, whatever. But the people making those videos, I mean, more power to them, whatever, if they're that disgusted. But Hasbro hasn't done anything, in my opinion, that's been so bad that I'm like, forget this line. There's still more good than bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, I forget who the YouTube channel was, but somebody literally posted a video of like, "Here's why I'm not collecting Lightning Collection anymore."
We probably watched the same one.
And I watched it, and it was interesting, and I'm not going to disagree with them and say they're wrong and they need to keep going. Like,
no, it's subjective.
They made a lot of valid points. For me, I feel like it was more introspective on how I felt about all of the Hasbro lines I have. And like, do I feel the same way with any of them? Do I feel completely the opposite? Like me, there's points that they made that I agree with, and there's points that they made that don't offend me as much specifically for Power Rangers. But a lot of stuff that they've said, I'm like, I have no problems with quality control for G.I. Joe. You just can't find them anywhere, so I don't care.
Right. Like, I wish I could remember, because I feel like we probably watched the same video, and I wish I can give them a shout out.
Yeah.
Was it the guy who is like the Silver Ranger?
Yes.
Geek Level Asian, is that his name?
Yes.
Okay, so I think so. Shout out to Geek Level Asian. That's who we were watching. Here's the thing, like Big Dog, I don't actually disagree with the facts of anything he said, but like him, he's like, and this paint app was bad, so I hate it. And I'm like, I was okay with that, like that's the only difference. Hello to Drake Drago. Good morning to
Aki Drago.
Aki Drago. Well, no, he said Drake Drago.
Did you read the comment?
It says Drake Drago. I understand it's Aki Drago, but it's still Drake. I'm not wrong. You're not getting a Ninja Steel off of that.
I did.
Get out. That's how you get Ninja Steel points. Get out of here. I hope for the best for this line. Going back to the Hasbro, there's like Marvel Legends and Black Series Star Wars seem to be the two that are like firing on all cylinders. They know what they're doing.
Yep.
And then G.I. Joe and Power Rangers are the new kids on the block. I have way more problems with G.I. Joe than I do with Power Rangers. Mostly because they're impossible to get, like main characters, army builders that are impossible to get, and they're done now. Like, it's not even like, well, I still have a chance. They're just gone unless I want to pay $1 million for them. And the aesthetic I don't love, and that's a subjective thing. But Power Rangers, they're all good figures. It might not be a character I feel I need, the paint, but they're all like representational of what they're supposed to be. G.I. Joe is sort of interpretational, and some are good and some are bad, and some I like, some I don't, and I can't get them. That's a line. that I always said if they ever made a 6-inch G.I. Joe line, I'm going to be in trouble because I'm going to get all of them because I loved G.I. Joes when I was a kid, and it's it's an ensemble cast, and I have
three, I think.
I have five.
Do we have the same ones?
I have Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, Destro, Cobra Commander, and the Red Ninja. Those are the 5 I have.
You have more than me. I think I only have 3.
And 3 I haven't opened. And the reason I haven't opened is because I am not 100% sure if I'm going to keep collecting this line. Because figures are coming out. Because even if I'm not being a completionist, kind of with Power Rangers, okay, well, I don't have to get all of them, but I want my favorites, or I want these main characters. And there are already main characters in G.I. Joe that I want that I could now not get. Yeah. Which is so maybe I just keep Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and done. I don't know.
Hasbro's lines are a big Venn diagram of great and terrible things that they're doing. You brought up Black Series, and for the most part, I don't have huge issues with Black Series. Mm-hmm. They have their own distribution issues, but that's, I think, half Hasbro's fault and half not. So I won't get into that. But right now, what are they putting out?
What do you mean?
For the Black Series, what characters are coming out right now?
Clone Wars and Mandalorian.
Yeah. Troopers, and that's it.
No, Clone Wars.
You have Ahsoka,
and right before that we got I guess I should say prequel stuff too, because right before that we got Anakin and Attack of the Clones Anakin and a few others from prequels that we hadn't gotten.
That is over 6 months ago.
Count Dooku. I just got Count Dooku. I may have ordered him 6 months ago, but he just.
But that's what I'm saying. Things that are coming out now / have been coming out for the last couple of months.
Dark Ray from Last Jedi.
Okay.
Or Return of Rise of Skywalker. Rather.
So you have a handful of Force users, and everything else is a Trooper variant.
And Mandalorian.
So
what's your point
ton.
Is your point that they're only putting out troops? Because I don't agree with that, if that's what you're saying.
I haven't seen the full movie, but for those who do, I think will understand this concept. In Wreck-It Ralph 2,
I haven't seen it yet.
Ralph stumbles upon a game where there's a bunny eating pancakes. And he keeps eating pancakes. He's like, wow, this bunny loves pancakes. And just speeds up shoving the bunny pancakes. And then they look, and the bunny is enormous and sad eating these pancakes. Just, I love Troopers. I love Force users. Honestly, that's most of the collection. Now I've realized that too much of a good thing can be desensitizing. And now I'm like, nothing is getting me excited. It's a lot of troop. Yep, there's another trooper. Hey, what's that? You got a trooper there. What? A trooper?
How does this noted? Are you going to spin this into something related to the Lightning Collection, or are you just complaining about Black Series?
I'm saying everything has positives and negatives.
Black Series, that's the negative of the Black Series you're saying.
Yeah, the figures seem fine, but it's a lot of 2 things and nothing else. And then
I think you're exaggerating how bad it is, but I see your point. We're missing a lot of chat here, so.
All right, let's take a look. We don't need to read exactly everything unless
I know.
Going off of
put some
a
up question. On the screen too.
I'm more saying that for the audience purposes. If we don't read exactly what we said, we're reading it. We're just not, giving everybody a huge play-by-play, if that makes sense.
It seems like other people, Alexander and other people may have watched that video themselves. And then Alexander always found the G.I. Joe 6-inch at a grocery store called HEB in San Antonio. I wish I knew. Did you collect them? I don't know what HEB is. But
it's
I guess
regional.
That's in Texas.
Yeah.
But here's the problem, and I appreciate that you would think of me like that. The problem is a lot of the ones that I want were Target exclusives that sold out immediately.
Yep.
So that Cobra Trooper that I wanted at least one of, but most of us would want 2 or 3 maybe. What was the other one in that line? Baroness. I want, but she had
Roadblock.
Roadblock was the only one I could live without because he's a variant.
Who's the green one?
The green one?
There was a green trooper. There was the Cobra Trooper, and then there was someone in a green balaclava and beanie, and I forget the name. Beachhead, thank you.
He's not a soldier. He's an individual. I mean, he's a soldier, but he's an individual character from G.I. Joe. He is one that I really wanted. He's would have been one of my main.
That was the 4.
Yeah. So there were several I missed, but the fact that I couldn't get Beachhead, who was a character on the cartoon, he wasn't some background. He was a main character in one of the later seasons. So that's where I'm okay, it's an alternate trooper. I'd really like it, but I can't get. But Beachhead, Baroness, Yeah, it's yeah.
It's its own thing, yeah. But let's
That's
take
not Power Rangers.
I was gonna say, forbid me from saying, let's stop talking about toys for a sec. Do you guys have any other questions, comments,
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like that are still Ranger related but aren't necessarily Lightning Collection? Because to be honest, we could spend an hour talking about that, and I know you guys want to talk about things other than just Lightning
Maybe they
Collection.
don't. Maybe they don't. I mean, basically, yeah.
If all you want Lightning Collection, I'll keep going. I just wanted to.
If we don't get direction, we'll probably end up staying on Lightning Collection a lot.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, but yeah, what was the other thing? There was another Ranger. The Psycho. We already talked about that. Well, while people are thinking about that, as long as we're talking about toys, let me share this. There was the China Toy Expo, whatever it was called, right?
Oh yeah. That happened this week.
Like yesterday, today.
Yeah.
And the main takeaway that I have seen, and there might be more that hasn't been published, and this is Toy Wizards, but other people have reported as well, is they showed the Pink Ranger retail release for Dino Fury Pink. And it looks good. It looks a lot like the Beast Morphers retail ones. But like the Beast Morphers retail ones, like I stopped buying them because they were putting them out in Lightning Collection, and I like these a lot. But I'm not the type of person that, generally speaking, there are exceptions, wants 15 versions of the same character. I just want the one good one. So I personally probably won't get any of these. I hate to say that because, they might have like a cool villain or a sidekick that won't show up in the Lightning Collection, but like, I'm kind of just betting on the Lightning Collection and putting everything in there, going back to like, I still support it. So, I mean, maybe I would get this and give it away to somebody if it was on sale or something, just to kind of help the brand spread out in the world, or, Toys for Tots or something like that. But the other thing is, the figure looks really nice, but I don't know what they're called. I'm going to call them Ranger keys. That's not what they're called. But this is the Ryu Soldier one here, which is the Season of Space now, which is a molded piece. And actually, I think I have some. I don't have much from that season, but I just randomly have these two.
Okay.
It was like cheap on Amazon. So they're pretty big.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're much bigger than I thought.
Let me give myself one shot so people can see. So yeah, this is the size they are. It's pretty big, and they're actually a little bit bigger than Ranger keys. And they flip down like this, and you insert them. So there is, that's why I call them Ranger keys. They're not, but there's a similarity.
Ryu Souls, I believe, is what
they're
they
Ryu
were.
Souls. Yeah, but I don't know what they're going to call them in America. But there's definitely like an activation point. And it looks like, well, instead of being sculpted plastic, it's flat with a sticker. Which makes it look more accurate to whatever, but it's still just a sticker. And the presumption, although this isn't confirmed, is that it's going to be significantly smaller. And I think that's an accurate presumption based on what we've seen before. All that being said, what do you think about this line, and will you be picking it up? Oh, there's
so I think kind of like when I saw this, did the Japanese ones look better initially right now? Yes. Do I think that the American ones are going to be terrible because of that? No. I think kind of like the American keys, I think there's going to be some strengths with the American ones that the Japanese ones don't have, but overall, the Japanese ones are going to be more prevalent in terms of variety, and obviously there's going to be some structural differences. For this line specifically, what I learned from Beast Morphers, and if Hasbro is going to keep some of the same themes, I'll probably get the villains, and that's about it. I double dipped in both.
Expansive.
Yeah, I double dipped in both before we got more for the Lightning Collection. But one thing I know is they were really good at having a good variety of villains, and there's no way they're making all of those in the Lightning Collection, so I have no problem getting those.
You're right, and if I didn't have an issue with scale, I would do the exact same thing. But even though they both are listed at like 6 inches, they're not properly in scale. Now, that being said, if there's a humanoid that could like be smallish and it's okay, or bigger, like if they're not as... There's some characters, like if you get a Hulk, let's say, in like the Avengers, and it's not quite the right scale, as long as he's taller than everyone, it's fine. So if there's the equivalent of that, where there's maybe a short character that I could mix in with the Lightning Collection, like an alpha type character, that I might do. But for anyone that's supposed to be the same height as the Rangers, it's going to be a problem.
There's a wise man that once said, "Scale is in the eye of the beholder."
No one ever said that.
Yeah.
Who?
You know what else he did? He also recommended that you have a very elaborate IKEA display set up for
Skullface.
Yes, our Lord and Savior Bobby Skullface. Praise be to him.
Scale is in the eye of the beholder, and I'm the beholder in this case, and scale bothers me. So
I know this is a prime example of different beliefs, but same core figure religion. Just bring it full circle.
I guess I don't think of my figures as a religion, but okay.
I would say that we're more, not to bring this in a religious tangent. I think we are more involved with figures than we are in religion in our personal lives, if I had guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah. If you want to put it that way, sure. Alexander and the Gang reviews. What got you guys into Power Rangers? What was the season or episode that got you hooked?
Season 1, episode 1. 93, baby.
Is that your whole answer?
Honestly, yeah. Like
but
ever
no,
since I was
you were young. Did you watch a rerun, or did you watch it when you were that young and it was?
I watched it when I was that young, and I watched the reruns.
Gotcha. I'm older, so I have a weird like roundabout. I kind of watched it first run, but I was like late middle school, early high school, and it was like because I was watching X-Men and other stuff, and then that would come on, and I'd be like, "This is dumb." Well, that's a cool robot. Like so all the like the high school stuff I thought was kind of dopey, but then when they would fight, I thought it was cool. So I kind of half watched it, and when the Green Ranger showed up, I'm like, okay, this guy's cool. But I kind of forgot about it, and I didn't run out and buy all the toys or anything. I just sort of like, it was like a guilty pleasure or something. And then at the time, my sibling, a couple of years later, my parents were divorced, and I moved back in with my mom, and I was living with a sibling, and he's significantly younger than me. And they were watching at the time, I think it was Zeo. So I started watching Zeo with them, and I bought some toys. So weirdly enough, the first Power Ranger toys I bought were Zeo, and it was from KB in the mall, which used to be around, and they were all super cheap. So I got like the 8-inch ones that could like kick and stuff for like $5 a piece. And it kills me that I don't have anymore because I know they go for so much. I had the Gold Ranger and blue and red. I didn't have the full team, but I had a good lineup. And I think I even then got some of the movie Mighty Morphin figures that were still.
Yeah, because they did the re-release of those.
Yeah, so that was like the first toys I got. And I wish I still had them now. I don't know what happened to them. I may have given them to my sibling. I may have lost them, sold them, traded them, whatever. But that was my second like journey into it. And then once I lost those toys and moved out, I kind of forgot about it again. And that was it until 5 years ago, maybe. I'm ballparking it. I was
6.
6 years ago. It was a combination of a few things, but mainly I was at San Diego Comic-Con again, and they had the SH Figure Arts come out, and they had the Green Ranger and the Red Ranger. And I was like, oh, that Green Ranger is awesome. Like, regardless what I think of the show or anything else, like, that's just a cool design. I want to get it, but I'm not really a Power Rangers fan. I mean, it's what is a fan? I had watched the show and enjoyed it, but I felt like I'm not enough of a fan to be buying this $40 figure or whatever it cost at the time. And around that same time, I ended up getting it when I got home. My wife actually got it for me because she was like, she kind of talked me out of getting it and then felt bad and then bought it for me later. And then either that year or the next year on the show floor, I ran into Jason David Frank at the booth, and he was taking pictures with people and being a cool guy. And he took a picture with me for free. And that got me jazzed up. It just got me like, okay, I want to buy these toys. That was cool. I met the Green Ranger. Let me see what's on TV. And this was around the time the Super Mega War was going to start coming in Super Mega Force. It hadn't happened yet, but I knew it was coming and he was coming back. So I was like, oh, so I'm like, well, I started watching MMPR and I'm like, well, let me watch something more recent. And so I started watching Samurai, which was the first Neo Saban. And I really liked it. I know Samurai is not everybody's favorite, but it was like, in a weird way, it was the first season I watched, even though I'd seen a bunch of others. It was the first season that I said, I'm going to watch Power Rangers because I want to from the beginning to the end. And I really liked the character of Antonio, and I liked Decker, and, there were good things about it. And from there, I rolled through, and I did not particularly like Megaforce or Super Megaforce, but then I liked Dino Charge. And in between those seasons, I went back and I watched RPM, which I loved, and I watched Jungle Fury, which is my all-time favorite. And then after that, I went back to MMPR and have been working my way through the catalog. And I'm currently, along with the big dog, watching SPD. So I've watched everything from the beginning up to where we are in SPD, and then most of what's after it. So I've only missed, like, at this point, like 2 full seasons, like 3 seasons I have to finish, but 2 full seasons.
Yeah.
So very, very long answer, but I could credit it to Jason David Frank as a person, the Green Ranger as a cool design, and Samurai as a season. And that's what, yeah.
So the Comic-Con you were talking about with the Green and Red Ranger was either 2012 or 13, I believe. And the only reason I know is over 5 years is because we've been friends longer than I've been with my wife. I've been with my wife for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And
that's a good way to measure it.
Yeah, and I'll do a short version of this long story. So I knew of Gaz locally, but I didn't know about your YouTube channel and your Power Ranger stuff until I saw your Megaforce Black review. And then from there, I hit you up and was like, hey, you should get this incredibly cheap SH Figure Arts
Still have it.
Shinken Red, for like $15 or something. And then from there, I was like, hey, have you heard of the San Jose Toy Show? I just got a bunch of Megazords for like $10 each. And you're like, no, that's cool. We should go to that when it comes back. And I was like, yep, sure thing. And then we went to a different con and we went toy hunting.
Yeah.
Here we are.
The rest was history. And I remember that first conversation too, because I only, like I said, we only vaguely knew each other. Like, because we went to the same comic store and I think I had sold some art there or something. And we played Magic once maybe. But that first conversation about Power Rangers and about toys, I feel like, and I'm not a guy that chats online a lot, but we talked for like an hour. Just back.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Long. And then it was like, and then we started hanging out. And then, fast forward a couple of years, we're doing a show.
Yeah, it was one of those things just because of how I know Gazbot now. We talked a bunch, and I think you were the one of like, we should just hang out because we're talking so much.
Yes.
Where I didn't want to be like, hey, man, come hang out with me. And I was like, if you want to hang out, I'll talk online all day. I don't care. And clearly we do it now. So
yeah.
But we went to a con, and I still remember we were on our way back. It was like a half hour to 45 minutes away, and we stopped, and you go, hey, there's a Target over here. Is it cool if we stop? I like to stop and sometimes go to the toy section. I was like, do that too. And then we spent 2 hours hitting Target, Walmart, Best Buy, Toys R Us, Walgreens,
everything.
whatever. And they were like, okay, cool. You do this. All right.
Yeah. And before the lockdown and all the stuff going on, that was one of the primary ways we would hang out is like, what are you doing tonight? Okay, let's spend 3 hours driving around town, looking at toy stores, and then get
hopefully finding something. And we're going to have,
not, who cares? Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk the whole time too.
Yeah. We're going to eat carbs and cheese. We just don't know where.
Yes. They want somebody, GF Pepita wants to know if we want to become famous by followers. And there's all kinds of letters that don't make sense. So that's definitely legit. Toku Kid, isn't there going to, let me throw this up here.
Yeah. So Toku Kid, so the Ryu Souls are meant to be like heads for Megazords for the Japanese toys.
Weapons too, I believe.
Yeah, it's pretty much the special gimmick of like interchange them and make different combinations and stuff like that. So how much of that's going to transfer over to the American ones?
I'm curious. I haven't gotten any of the Japanese ones. I kind of want to, but just again, time, space, money. But like, especially the main red one looks really cool. And it's sort of, to me, Zoojer, where it kind of looked like Minecraft. I feel like this is accomplishing better what they were trying to accomplish, where it's this modular interlocking, but it's, at a glance, it looks like a regular robot, but then there's like Lego like pegs in it that you can flip around. And so I'm like, I feel like this does what they wanted to do with that, but it looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, it's much more aesthetically pleasing, and there's only like one or two literally blocky parts where you're like, okay, if you were a purist, you'd be like, that looks kind of ugly. Oh, you could do what with those? Oh, okay, that makes sense now.
Let's see. Alexander and gang, after I met Pure, I got out of it. My son got me back into it with Samurai, and my son is my wallet and life support. So basically I had the same journey as you, but without a son being involved.
Yeah, there was no nudging. There was just me going like, hey, heard you like Power Rangers. You should get more Power Ranger toys. And you went, you're right. I don't have Power Ranger toys.
Yes, but you never were like, hey, go watch Samurai. I was the one that
if anything, it was the opposite. You're like, how have you not watched Samurai? I'm like, I heard it's awful.
Right. Well, and at that point, it was like the third season I'd ever watched. So I was like, it's great because the special effects and stuff, while they're not good by today's standards, the acting, special effects, everything was like a way higher level than it was in the 90s. So it's like, oh, it's amazing. Like
I remember at that time when we first started hanging out, there was a summer where like I had weird summer jobs depending on the year. And one of them was I had to house sit and like dog sit for my dad's friend. And like their dog had such a specific schedule where it was like, oh, so that's all I'm doing then. And sometimes hanging out with people where it's like, yeah, no, you can do other stuff. You just need to be sure you're here at 7 and then also here at 2 and also here at 5. And I'm like, okay, so kind of the whole day. So I remember like staying up really late till like 4 a.m. and I binge watched all of History of Power Rangers from Linkara.
Oh yeah, I love that series. I think you turned me on to it, right?
I believe I did, yeah.
I mean, I definitely watched them. I don't remember how I found them, but probably you. But I've watched all of them for the seasons I have seen. Oh, that's not true. When I finished, because I didn't want to watch them and spoil it for myself. So it was sort of a reward when I finished the season, I got to watch it. That also helped me get back into it, though, too. Because around when I first started watching, I went back and watched the Mighty Morphin and Zeo, the ones I had seen. I'm like, oh, yeah. I am still owed to myself
Dino
Dino.
Thunder.
I finished it, but I've had a hard time finding it because it's not on YouTube anymore.
You got to go to his website atop the fourth wall.
But I usually want to watch it on TV, like in bed or something, as opposed to like on my computer. So that one I haven't watched, but most of them watched. They're great. If you guys haven't seen them, they're really fun. They're critical, but with love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does a good job, especially for Mighty Morphin, where like he breaks down each season, does them in multiple parts. They're really long, but thorough in the best way. And like Mighty Morphin, he's like, season one's not very good, guys. Like there's a lot of cool stuff. It's nostalgia. I love Power Rangers. It's not very good. Like it's not a good season. And then he's like
even going on half the time. I mean, production, that makes sense, you know.
And then he gives you cool behind the scenes tidbits and things like that. He's
largely responsible for me liking Bulk and Skull as much as I do.
Yeah, he definitely shines a light on things that like I think have all crossed our minds, but we're like, oh, I never really thought about it that way. And then like it kind of plants the seed for larger feelings. Let's see. We got
Doug, comments.
Yeah, so Matt Kendall-Clare brought up something that he believes Akijagu brought up in the past. What seasons would we like to see as a future story, not including Time Force and SPD, just because we kind of have that in some way, shape, or form? I know you're going to say Jungle Fury. I also would like to see Jungle Fury. I
mean, I won't say Jungle Fury just because that's the obvious answer. I mean, I would, but like, yeah, it's
so. Mine's funny. So more than like wanting to see a continuation of a team, I really would love to see Andros's first team.
So the prequel, basically.
Yes, like more than I want to see a sequel of a certain team.
It would be dark because we know he lost most of his
I really want. I want to see like because I want to know if back in young Andros days, if he was hopeful or if he was just always kind of a weenie,
right?
And just always gruff and needing a TJ in his life, and yeah, that's what I want. But to answer the question formally. Just kind of going season by season really quick. Yeah, honestly, a lot of them I would love to see prequels more than sequels, but
there are sequels. I'll say I would love to see. I mean, there's probably others. I'm bad at thinking on my feet with stuff like this. Like this could be a topic where I sit down and analyze each one, but off the top of my head, RPM, because we end Vengeance is defeated, although now was he, but they're still in this future world that's all desolate and there's only one city left, and like. What happens next? Do they rebuild? Does a new threat show up? Like, what does Ziggy and Dr. K get married? Like what? I would just like to see what happens next, or 10 years later or whatever. So that would interest me on a smaller scale where I don't know if it would need to be a whole season, but maybe like a one-off. Wild Force. I always wanted to see what happened with all the characters, but specifically with Jindrax and what's her name? Because they kind of turned good-ish. Yeah. They kind of walked off into the sunset. And I'm like, well, what are they doing now? Are they bounty hunters? Or are they opening a coffee shop? Like, I always just kind of wondered what happens next with them.
I feel like one, and this is kind of just shows you what kind of fiction I've been into lately. I feel like the easiest one to just see kind of normal after would be Lightspeed Rescue, because they defeat the demons, but it's like we still kind of like save people and stuff, and we didn't give up these ranger powers. Right. They're here, so it'd be something of like Carter struggling to find meaning again, and everybody else like doing their jobs, but like not having that same fulfillment as finding a demon. And then maybe there is a big bad, and then you get the team. Like there's so many possibilities where
you're not wrong, but I specifically, because I like Lightspeed Rescue, so I thought of that one, but I literally thought like, they kind of resolved everything and they're all pretty, you know what they're going to do. They're going to go back to it. So like my thought was the next chapter, we kind of know what's going to happen and it won't be that interesting. So that's why I didn't think of that one.
Yeah. That's the thing is like, I think it's just based on a lot of comics I've been reading where it's like, yeah, you're a superhero and you have these powers. What do you do when things are kind of back to normal, quote unquote?
Right.
And you're like, I don't know how to function if there's not a big bad.
It's funny. This is going to seem out of nowhere, but over the last month or two, my wife and I watched Steven Universe, like all of Steven Universe.
Okay.
And it took me a while to get into it. I don't know who's watching, who hasn't, but in the beginning, I'm like, I don't get what the big deal about this show is, because people love it, and I'm like, this is not anything great. Yep. I thought the same thing about Adventure Time, and now Adventure Time is one of my favorite shows ever. So that I often have a bad first impression. I got into it. I see why people like it. I don't want to get into heavy spoilers, but a bunch of stuff happens, and then there's a big arc that is exactly what you're talking about, of like, okay, now what?
Yep.
And that is my least favorite part of the entire show.
Really?
So, yeah, because it's just kind of depressing and existential. It's like, yeah, I understand heroes are people and they should have flaws and stuff, but it's sort of like, okay, yeah, I saved the world and now I'm depressed. And it's like,
I know why this is top of mind for me now.
Why?
What?
Is it a TV show that ended recently?
Yeah, there's a TV show that I watch that had a lot of the things that I said, and I didn't realize I literally was going over the plot of it until I said it out loud, and I was like, huh, okay. I guess I just want that fleshed out more because I was not completely satisfied with that arc.
I feel like if it's the show I'm thinking of, we can say what show it is. It doesn't spoil anything, really.
Supernatural just ended after 15 seasons, and definitely some themes that I said or touched upon, but I literally just watched like this morning / last night, like all of the series ranked by Watch Mojo in order and like stuff like that.
Seasons,
and like,
you mean?
What's up?
Seasons, you mean?
That's what I said. What did I say?
Series.
Oh, my bad. Oh,
I just want to make sure they weren't pitting one series against others.
No, I was in British talk. But yeah, I saw that, and then like, what was the finale supposed to be? So, so yeah, stuff like that where that's funny. But yeah, I hope that answered your question.
So let's see. Basically, oh wait, what? Hold on, let me see. I didn't read this. I'm going to read it on. Basically, kind of a year or some sort after. Remember, they asked YouTube boom comment. Oh, okay, so that was the same question. And then Alexander, oh my goodness, Big Dog. I watched the history of Power Rangers. Yeah, they're great.
Dude, he saw it. Yeah, I saw him at Power MorphCon. He was a pretty chill dude.
Yeah, I got a picture with him. He seemed to be that kind of person. Like, oh, you want a picture? Sure, okay. Like, kind of surprised. So we want a picture. And then so Matt Kendall, Claire likes your in space, and then and mine as well. Hey, look, he liked both of us. We're double winners.
That's a ninja steal.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, but I honestly, like, to that question, it's hard to answer those questions now in a good way because we have so many good fan films going on right now.
Yeah.
Like, the first thing I thought of, I'm like, oh, well, what about, we have Shattered Past, so I don't really need to worry about Time Force. Well, oh no, Time Force is also involved in Unworthy. Okay. Yeah. And then, you have completely different teams with Gemingers and stuff like that. And then in the comics, you have a Time Force sequel comic and all this stuff. So you have, a lot of good Power Rangers content right now. Kind
of one of the things I would want to see too is what they did do in the comics, where they had this sort of wild card team of different Rangers from different like teams of. I would want to see. I mean, we'd all have talked about this, but I've said this before. If they keep making seasons, and I thought / hoped the next season was going to be Uchi Sentai Q Ranger, which is the space one with like 9 Rangers. And I was like, well, that'll do well. It's space. It's cool. The suits are awesome. And because of the variety of types of characters, I've only watched a bit of that season, but there's a lot of opportunity. I thought it'd be great to bring back some or all veteran Rangers. And I would even say like maybe carry over some of the Beast Morphers crew, but there's so many, and they have a sort of Doggy Kruger-like character that could be any senior Ranger, and then there are other Rangers that show up, kind of like with Dino Charge, where there's some that aren't always there. So it's like, oh, well, maybe that's again an older Ranger that shows up once in a while when they need that expertise. And the big idea I had that I want to be stolen, because I love this idea so much that I want it to be stolen. I want it to
hear that, Hasbro.
Steal it.
Mic check.
In the show, there's a character here. Actually, I have some of the vinyls right here. In the show, one of the many variants is that there is a Kid Ranger, a blue Kid Ranger. I think he's the bear. And what I was saying is, bring back Blake Foster as Justin, and now if you haven't seen him, he's a big, beefy MMA looking dude. He's got a beard, tattoos, and don't make him change. Don't make him look like let him be. He's like, yeah, I was a kid and I was into martial arts and now I'm an MMA fighter, but the call came, once a ranger, always a ranger, but the turbo powers don't work anymore. So he gets the new Kyutama powers. And when he morphs, he turns into a little kid.
That would be funny.
So it's like the exact opposite. Now he's finally this big tough guy, but his ranger form is the kid. And I love that idea so much. I want it to happen. Like, yeah.
If your idea did happen, my biggest want would be that Bulk would be the Black Ranger.
I mean, I'd be fine with that too, but I'm not gonna reach that far. You know what I mean? Maybe Bulk would be in the show on the station as like a helper or something.
Nope, that's my want. If we're going to Fantasyland, that's my only
think Bulk should ever be a ranger. He said that like Bulk and Skull should never actually become rangers, like in a parody or for fun or whatever, but they should never. I mean, maybe he's changed his mind, but I've heard him say that in interviews.
All right, Jack goes to the pass, Black Ranger.
That I'm fine with. Yes,
Yeah.
Jack from Hyperforce, yes, but not Bulk. Yeah. That okay. I'm totally because I would love to see the actor. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
100%.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I had something I was thinking of, but I can't think of it. Oh, this is gonna bother me.
Well, I have another topic, but it's toy related. So if chat wants to steer us in a different direction, ask another question before I go into toys again. I don't know.
All right, you convinced me. What's your toy topic?
Wave 8, Lightning Collection Wave 8.
Yes. So we have soft confirmation from Toy Wiz, I believe.
Yeah, I have the Toy Wizard thing open, which they had before was like the rumors where they just had the pictures. But the soft confirmation, which seems pretty likely considering this was already rumored heavily. Toy Wiz is a seller which apparently is notorious for putting things up before they're supposed to. And so there's no pictures, but you can see it's a little small, but there are listings for the 4 characters that are pictured here. These are not the figures, these are just images. But it basically confirms the rumors, unless Toy Wiz is completely wrong, which would be weird because they're actually a retailer. A retailer, whatever.
Retailer.
One thing I noticed though, they're $22.99. I'm imagining that's because they're not Target, they're not Walmart. This is like the higher Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store kind of price that it starts at, and not that they bumped it up to this price. Because while some of the Hasbro 6-inch figures have been bumped up on occasion, unless it's some kind of special exclusive or deluxe figure, Power Rangers have not, and it should stay that way. A, because it's a new line, they're trying to get people in it, and B, there's no Build-A-Figure, so let's keep it low. But I'm excited. This wave probably excites me more than the last couple waves. I mean, the last wave was just not exciting at all to me. It was mostly reuse and reissue.
Yeah.
But mainly for SPD Pink is the one I'm mainly excited about for this.
Yeah, I'm excited for I think it's a tie for me between SPD Pink and Adam, mostly because I'm more excited about the Adam head than I am Zeo Green.
Me too. I guess here's the thing though. I expected that one. I knew we'd get a Zeo Green. I knew we'd get an Adam. So I am excited about it. And that is one that was like on my want list. But I knew it was coming kind of. SPD, the fact that we've gotten 2 previous already surprised me. And the fact that they're coming out with Pink is great because the girls. This
will be the 5th SPD Ranger.
If you're counting A Squad, yes.
No.
Oh, Doggy.
And
Omega,
Doggy, Red, Blue, Pink.
Yeah. So 6 if you count A Squad.
Yeah, I'm not counting A Squad.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a lot. That's heavy representation. But also it's a female figure, which shouldn't matter, but it's always nice to get female. I would have preferred yellow because I prefer that character, but I actually like the way the pink suit looks better. Kind of reminds me of like Kamen Rider Decade or something. It's just really striking with black and pink. But yeah, that's if I saw all 4 of them in the store and I was like, I only have money for one, I would get her first. Then I would get Adam. And then I guess I'd get Dino Thunder Blue, but I'm not in any hurry. I'd probably wait till it was on sale or something. And then Lost Galaxy Red, I have from the 2-pack. So unless he had something, even if he just has his, I forget what that weapon's called, but if he just has his deluxe weapon, I'd probably skip it. Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Some canon thing, I forget.
I mean, they should have something different, and that should be in there, but that won't be enough to get me to buy it. But I realized what would get me enough to buy it is not a civilian head, not a helmet head, but a cracked visor. Where
Yeah, I was thinking it from the finale.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the first time that happened in the show, but it always sticks out in my mind as like it's happened other times.
Prevalent, yeah.
That's the one that whenever I think of the cracked visor, it's always Lost Galaxy Red. So that, as much as I would hate to buy it again for that helmet, I could see buying it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I forget who it was. I feel like it was Keyram Porter or one of our main commenters, but somebody had brought up that I saw on Facebook that Beast Morphers is wrapping up and we don't have all the Beast Morphers characters.
Yeah, Steel and Zoe.
What's going on, Hasbro?
I mean, I guess I assume they're going to still be coming, but there's a lot of people saying that the next waves that don't even have like real rumors, like they have guesses, is going to have Dino Fury Red in it. And so that would be like the current one. But like, here's the thing. I don't buy into the whole female figures don't sell, but even if that's how they're going, what about Steel? He's a Silver Ranger. He's a, 6th Ranger, additional Ranger. He's a robot. That's not popular with kids. That's not popular with adults. Like he's one of the best characters on the show. To like I don't know. Why not Steel? Like I want both, but not having Steel seems even crazier than not having Zoe.
Yeah, I know their release schedule on toys was really weird this year, but I am a little peeved that we don't have both of those. And I'm not going to say more importantly, we don't have the Lion Zord yet.
We're not getting the Lion Zord. That's not happening.
Ever?
I don't think so. You think they're going to announce it now? I mean, they're almost done airing it. Like I made peace with the fact that when they announced all the stuff coming out for season 2 and all that stuff, I assumed we're never getting a Lion Zord. I don't think that's good. I think that's terrible. And it's costing them 2 sales because I would buy the Racer Zord and the Lion Zord. But because I can't get the Lion Zord, I'm not going to get the Racer Zord. If it comes out, I'd be happy to be wrong. But I mean, at this point, it's so late to come out. Like, and it's the Christmas season, holiday season coming up too. So this would be the time. They're going to release it in February. Like,
no idea.
Yeah, I assume that's not coming out.
We'll have to see. We do have some people commenting though. Yeah. YouTube guy wants all of Zeo. Hey man, you and me both.
Yeah.
The cannon is called the Quasar Launcher. Thank you, Matt Kendall Clare. And then Alex and the gang wants a Scrozzle figure. Hey, don't we all?
I want a Scrozzle and I want a Babu, and I want to put them right next to each other.
Hey, I already have the Time Bros, so that's one head cannon that's complete now.
There you
so
go.
We'll have to see what else we can get from that. But
you skipped something kind of important here. NewTube guy, like Zeo, all time his favorite. And he's got a complete set of Zeo Ranger head sketches by me hanging in his son's bedroom. So awesome, and thank you. How you skipping over that?
I did miss that. I saw a complete Zeo head, and I was like, oh, like, yeah, they came out.
Zeo head?
I saw complete Zeo, and I was in my head, I was like, yeah, Bandai did it. I know. And that's how I did it. Yeah. Good thing you checked. Good thing. Yeah, I mean, we love you, Hasbro. We just don't want you to hurt us.
Don't hurt us. And Matt Kendall Clare agrees about Steel and Lion Zord.
Yeah, you posted something up about Red being a duplicate. So this is a topic we've talked about for a while. I'm officially okay with Lost Galaxy Red coming out as a dupe. It's been plenty of time since that last 2-pack with him and Psycho Red, and I am okay with that for those that were smart and didn't buy it or, want the single release and missed out.
It doesn't bother me as much as the other re-releases because it's been further away in time. And in this wave, we have 3 completely new characters and 1 re-release. The problem I had with the other one was that it was much more recent, and it was almost all re-releases in that wave. It was just like a not exciting wave for that reason. So
yeah, it's one like we talked about that 2-pack specifically where that team's going to happen eventually. You want to re-release Red so more people can get it? Go for it. Reds are typically popular with teams. You want to re-release Psycho Red in a 5-pack after you made me buy it in a 2-pack? Hasbro,
as well as the exclusive blue where you thought you had to get it at GameStop or you weren't getting it.
The worst.
Yeah,
but
no, this is not nearly that bad.
Yeah. But so
out of these 4, I said I would get SPD Pink first. What about you? What would your top pick out of these guys?
Honestly, I'd probably get Zeo Green because I'd be most worried about it.
Because it would sell out. Yeah. Yeah, because here's the thing: pink could be the peg warmer because it's the girl, or it could be packed one per case that become impossible. Like we don't know. You know what I mean? It's who knows?
Yeah, it's one where I think when it comes to both of us, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but it seems like for us,
speak on my behalf, sir.
Yeah, right. Whenever Hasbro figures come out, you and I are excited, not excited for certain characters, but regardless of if it's a yay or nay, the sub kind of section from that is, what is the price point where I will officially go in on it?
Yeah, absolutely. Even the figures that I'm not particularly interested in, if they go down to like $10, I'll probably get them. And then there are some that like, oh, I don't like if it was Lost Galaxy Red with just extra weapons, I'm like, I'm not getting it even for $10. And then if it's like loose for $6 somewhere, I'm like, for $6, that's worth it.
Or no, we've seen it times where it's like 8 or 9 and you've convinced yourself depending on your mood that day. It's all dependent on that.
It also depends on if I just bought a bunch of stuff and spent a bunch of money, I could wait a lot longer. But if it's like I haven't bought a toy in like 2 weeks, I could get this.
Yeah. I think for me, it's twofold of how much do I want the character / is it a popular seasoner character where I'm like, if I see it and I don't get it now, what's gonna be the case? So that's how I kind of feel with Adam, just because people really want that on masthead.
You're probably right. YouTube guy says a bit off topic, which it's not because it's Power Rangers, so but it's all on topic. Is there another movie happening? Will it be a sequel or reboot? We are not experts, but you want to take it?
Put my thinking cap on. So here's what we know. Jonathan Entwistle, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, is the official kind of quote unquote showrunner for Power Rangers.
He's the
he's the what's the Marvel guy's name? Kevin
Feige.
Thank you, Kevin Feige. You get an Ninja Steel point. He's the guy who says, look, outside of the show that's going to be on Nickelodeon, I'm going to be telling you how Power Rangers is going. They're going to do possibly an animated series. They're doing a movie that's different continuity from the last movie we got. And it's hard how they describe it. In some senses, it's a reboot. In some senses, it's not, because it supposedly might tie into the original series, which in that case wouldn't be a reboot.
It's a reboot. It's not going to be a sequel to the movie we got a couple years ago.
Correct.
So in that sense, it's a reboot. One thing I thought, though, and this is just wild speculation on my part, Shattered Grid has been like the most exciting, popular story to come out of Power Rangers in years, and it's responsible for a lot of the energizing of the fan base.
Yes.
At some point, assuming these projects go the way they're supposed to, whether in animated form or a live action, more mature series or whatever, especially looking at what they're doing with Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse, things like that.
I was going to bring this up too.
Yeah. We could have a situation where there's a Shattered Grid storyline where different teams from different dimensions are crossing over. You could bring back those Lionsgate Rangers and those suits. Maybe you have the actors come back, but if you can't get them, you at least have the suits. So there's not going to be a continuation of that story like as a movie probably, but we could see those characters show up more in a comic or a show or something else like that, which interests me more, to be honest, to see them interact with the other iteration of Rangers.
Yeah, to me, when it comes to anything I like, anytime you can bring back old actors or actresses from stuff, it's always cool. Even if it's a character, you're like, if they brought back some Overdrive Rangers, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, that's cool. You got them back. We're continuing that story, whether we need to or not. You know, I'll throw you.
I was really surprised when the question came up of what would you like to see continue, what story, that you didn't bring up Overdrive. You know what I mean? Like, I thought for sure that would be your top pick, because, you know,
Operation Overdrive is my favorite season.
And it just seemed like that's where you go. So I admire your self-restraint.
I know how Overdrive ends due to history of Power Rangers, so I don't want to spoil anything for you, but it's not on my list.
But
and
no,
we'll know why when we finish the season together.
No, but also you don't want to be obvious. The same way I didn't say Jungle Fury because that's my favorite, so of course I'm going to say that. So you don't say, no, I'm saying I admire that you had the strength to just not choose that season anyway.
I'm trying to figure out what I get to troll you with before the end of the show.
I was looking for new collection figures, looking for toilet paper. Yeah. I rarely see them on the shelves. Usually I'll see like the last wave, like the less popular figures from the previous wave. A lot, and especially nowadays, I've been ordering them online a lot more, which I didn't used to do, but for a variety of reasons, that's just how. Or Or sometimes, my co-host sends me one in the mail, and that's awesome.
Yeah. I will say once Ravi's gone, that's when we'll know the new shift has happened.
Right.
He seems to be the man
out.
holding down the fort.
Yes. Although I will also say I haven't been toy hunting as much because of the obvious reasons, but I have been to Walmart a few times and Target more, and also Walgreens. And I very often see 0 Power Rangers.
Same.
Not like, oh, it's a bunch of Ravi. It's like there's no Lightning Collection. There's no Beast Morphers. Maybe there's like a role play item kicking around the bottom shelf, but it doesn't look like, ooh, they got I'm assuming they're getting stock and it's selling, but it makes it seem more like they're not carrying Power Rangers right now because they never have anything. Nothing.
They 100% are. I think they're just not stocked.
I guess, but that's good, I guess, but it's also weird because you'd think they'd order more then.
I think also, like you said, with Target, what we were talking about with G.I. Joe earlier, when you have the exclusive packaging for these figures, they're not exclusive figures, but they kind of are in a sense. That's another thing where people are like, oh, cool, shiny, and like it's
That's
done.
true, and I give a bit of a pass for the super new stuff, but I'm talking, like I said, we see Ravi. There have been waves after Ravi, you know what I mean? And like I saw Time Force Red once by himself.
That wave dried up pretty quick though, because it was Time Force Red, Zeo Gold, MMPR Black, MMPR Red.
Was that? Both?
I think that was all of them. All hits.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I actually got Black. I never saw any of those in the store except for one time I saw Time Force Red after I got them online. And like a couple weeks ago, I had to go to Best Buy for a Mandalorian figure to pick up, and it wasn't ready. So I went down the aisle and I found MMPR Black.
Nice.
And
jealous.
There was 3 of them. But all the boxes were messed up. They looked like they had come out of the back. Like one was dusty, one looked like it had coffee. Yeah. So I got it because I was like, oh my God, I've never seen these. But clearly somebody had 3 in the back and somebody else pulled them out. But like that, other than that, I never saw any of those at all. Same thing with the new wave with the Z putties and stuff. As much as I complain about it being mostly reused, I've never seen a single one of those in the store. So
that's on the short list for me. And it's really curious to see now that they're quote unquote done with Mighty Morphin where they're going to go from here. I'm really surprised we haven't got a single Turbo Ranger yet.
I mean, it'll be red because it'll be Tommy, eventually.
But still, like that was one where they loved the Zordon era, and it's the only series that Bandai didn't touch that Hasbro has also not touched.
But putting aside how good the season actually was and how much people may or may not like it now, at the time it didn't do well, and the perception is it is a disliked season that almost destroyed Power Rangers. And in the fandom, if you're deep in it, you might be like, well, that's not really true. And people want all the characters and the suits are cool. And there's lots of reasons why people might want them. But how deep do you think the people at Hasbro are really going? The people that are making those decisions at that level, do you think, I think at best they're like, oh yeah, Turbo didn't do well. Like, don't worry about that. Maybe eventually we'll get to it. Like when we're doing Stiltman, like once we're that deep. But I think if and when they do it, they're going to do Tommy because he's the Red Ranger and he's Tommy, and see how that goes. But I mean, I would like some Turbo. I would love a Blue Centurion and a Phantom Ranger. And I mean, I want all of them, obviously, but.
Well, if you look at Zeo, Tommy was the 3rd Zeo Ranger they released.
Okay, the gold was the 6th Ranger, and it was Jason. And what was the other one? And then Rocky.
Blue.
Yeah, that was a weird choice. I'm not against it or anything, but that was surprising. But I think that they were saving some of their Tommy juice because, like,
that's what I'm saying. Same with this; they could still save it because we got a whole Tommy wave.
Oh, with re-releases. Again?
That's what I'm saying, though. Listen to us. We're burnt out on it. Give it some time, but give us,
I know. And it is a thing where, like, as much as people complain about Mighty Morphin and Tommy, the numbers don't lie. And that's what will sell the most. And that's what will bring in the casual fans. And like, I've talked about this before, like I used to be right there with you, but for those that don't know, I sell art and a lot of it is Power Rangers art. And I have a lot of art throughout a lot of seasons. And by far, Mighty Morphin and Tommy sell the best by leaps and bounds, but over everything else. So it's a thing where, like, yeah, it's nice that I'm doing these other obscure Rangers and maybe one person will buy it that year. And then I'll sell 15 Dragon Zords. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard to, It's tough. It's tough. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's true. Everyone's surprised about you not wanting overdrive, so it's not just me. But good for you staying strong.
I want to read YouTube guy's comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
Read it.
So his kid is getting the Beast Morph for a 6-pack from Santa. At least that's what he hears through the grapevine. That sounds awesome. All those figures are great, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the way they repacked that was really cool.
And Alexander's kids plays. There you go. Awesome.
Oh, so one thing to Matt Kendall Claire's next comment. When we were talking about that and you had brought up the Mandalorian, I really want to see the Mandalorian next to Phantom Ranger and just make some headcanon where it works.
Yeah, I can see because Phantom Ranger's out there in space doing who knows what. Maybe he ends up on Tatooine or something. But also going back to things we talked about before about Ranger figures that could cross over into other lines. Phantom Ranger, I mean, Blue Centurion is a little bit too goofy and specific maybe, but Phantom Ranger could be a G.I. Joe guy. He could be a Marvel villain. He could be a space hero. Like he could fit into any line that you wanted to. Tommy Juice.
Do you think in the next, I'm going to give it 4 waves, that we're going to get either Ninjetti or Mighty Morphin movie suits?
Yes. I don't even have to think about that. In the next 4 waves, yes, because they're going to be out of Mighty Morphin. And what they should do is do Babu and Squat and Scorpina and like those characters, but they're not going to, or at least if they do, but they want Mighty Morphin and they want the Tommy Juice, like as we said, and you could get Mighty Morphin, Tommy White and Ninjetti, and like Ninjetti, I'm kind of Luke. I don't think I'd care. I'd have to see them. They'd have to be really good figures because I never was a huge fan of Ninjetti. But the movie suits, I'd buy them, even though I don't need them. But they're cool and they're kind of armory. I'd buy them.
Think of if they did like the Red Ninja that you have, but less all modernized. Would you be more interested in the Ninjetti if they were like that?
No. I mean, I got the Red Ninja to fight Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow, not because I think the Red Ninja is a cool character by himself. But no, it's, you know what it is? I think it's so different from Power Rangers. Like, it doesn't feel like Power Rangers. It feels like Ninjetti feels like a civilian form. You know what I mean? It feels like oh, that's the civilian form of the Ninja Power Rangers. When they really like kind of like SPD or Ninja Storm, where they have like a cooler civilian like outfit and powers, and then that's what Ninjetti feels like to me. It's like the step in between normal civilian and actual Power Ranger. So I hope they make it for completionists and for people who that's their favorite or whatever. And if the figure is really amazing, maybe I'll get it. I'm not saying I definitely won't, but if they never make it, I don't care. It's not
we also have metallic armor in the tank. They already started that.
Yeah. Assuming they continue it. That one, I hate myself for getting, but I did get pink already.
It's so shocking that you did and I didn't.
I tell myself it's because of the cat head, but I do like shiny stuff. And the last ones that the band I didn't think were good. This, at least by the pictures, actually looks kind of cool and sparkly and fun. And I think it'll look good under the light. So we're over an hour, so we're getting towards the end here. We're gonna have to wrap up soon. And the Alien Rangers, that's another one where they should make them. I have the vintage Alien Ranger figures, and I really like them. Doesn't mean I wouldn't get new ones, but they're kind of a basic outfit, which I'm not dying to see. I want them to do everybody eventually, but that's not one on the top of my list.
I feel like the heads are going to be one of the cooler things. If they nail the heads really well, then I think you would be more interested for those.
Yeah, but maybe as a way to display them as civilians. But like, I find most of my Rangers, I don't have their civilian heads on. There's a few I do, but most I don't. I think I would be more likely to want like a whole civilian figure that I put next to the Ranger. Like, this is who they morph into, kind of,
No. I'm saying just the heads themselves, I think, have more appeal as something different. Or like, imagine putting that on a Stormtrooper.
The Ninjetti head?
No, the Alien Ranger heads, the Equations.
I didn't realize you were. I mean, I guess if you're trying to kit bash stuff, but I personally probably wouldn't do that. But yeah, if you're trying to create, I mean, you just got done saying how you're sick of all these variations of troopers, and you're like, I need a way to make new trooper variations. So I don't know where you're coming from.
Hush your mouth.
Matt Kendall Claire would like to see Alien Ranger. Oh, well, Ninjor. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
Ninjor.
that's the main reason.
Yeah. Because I have the big one, but as far as I know, they never made a small one, and I would love. I don't need him to like transform or anything. I want him to just be a good 6-inch Ninjor. Yeah,
You know what's going to happen?
What?
They're going to release white, red, and then a 6-pack with Ninjor.
Or they'll make him extra big like a monster pack, and it'll annoy me because he won't be giant size, but he won't be 6 inches. I mean, again, if he's like a little taller, but yeah. All right, so I'm gonna have to go soon. We're at about an hour. Any last minute questions, comments, concerns, suggestions for future shows? Throw them up now. And next week, I don't know if we're gonna do SPD again next week or if we'll be ready in time.
We have a decent little chunk to catch
through.
up on.
I haven't looked at how many we got to get through. Let's assume it won't be. I mean, maybe it will. We're going to have an episode next week.
Yeah.
If it's not SPD, it won't be a live one again. We'll actually have a theme or something. So we might come up with our own. We might pull it from an old comment, or if you got something you want to throw out now, go ahead. While people are putting in their last comments, questions, whatever, I have a question for you, Big Dog.
Yes.
Do you know what it is?
No.
When can we see your comic book show?
Oh, soon. I was going to bring up comic stuff. So I actually had them at the ready. Here's some Power Ranger comics I actually just won on Instagram. Got some cool ones here.
You enter every Instagram giveaway.
Oh, yeah. So this is one of my favorites. The artist is Peach Momoko. She's very popular right now, and she happens to be doing these very stylized Ranger ones, which is cool.
Now, are those sketch covers or are those variants?
Variants.
Okay.
And then this was cool. This was I'm usually not a big like connective variant guy, especially when you have to buy multiples, but when they both are shipped to you,
I like that, but you know what? I want a poster of that. That's what I want.
I guarantee you they will make a poster.
I hope so, because I have a Transformers poster very similar to that, where it's got, and I would love a Power Rangers one as well.
Yeah. Speaking of those comics, I want those Omega Ranger figures more than I want most Rangers. Period.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and that going to comics and Lightning Collection, the Century figures too. I would actually prefer the Centuries to the Omega personally. I think they should make both, but yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it's Hasbro to cash grab. I agree with you since you like them. Yep. Yeah, so I will do that soon. To be honest, part of the reason I was waiting is Mighty Morphin issue 2 comes out tomorrow of us recording this. So I wanted to read that and see if there's any more details we got since issue 1 of Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers.
So are you saying that you will have it up this week or next week, or? I'm
going to have it recorded at some point in the next 2 weeks.
You said that last week.
Yeah, but I'm actually like kind of busy this week, so I got to figure out when I'm going to record it.
I'm just bringing it up because the fans want to know.
I know. It will be done. I promise you guys it will be done. When it will be done, that's a great question that even I would love the answer to.
Okay. I think that's it. A couple thanks. Glad you guys enjoyed it that came live. We appreciate the questions, the comments, and just the camaraderie of hanging out. We like doing these, but I feel like if we do them too much, it just becomes like, what are we talking about? I like having a feeling. But you can always ask us questions or give us suggestions in the comments on YouTube or on the Facebook group. If you're on Twitch, thanks for watching, but I don't know how to get messages on Twitch like other than that. But yeah, so next week we'll be back. Not sure what we'll be doing, but we'll be back. Until then, I have been Gazbot.
Still the big dog.
And?
To the power.
Yes, to the power. I didn't have the credit.
I didn't have
the credits ready.
Sure.
I never have the credits ready.
Slow motion.
Okay, here's the credit. Hey, Fox Ranger 3X9. Thanks for showing up. You missed the show, live that is, but thanks for showing up, and we'll keep it posted so you can rewatch it later if you want. Until next time, I'm going to keep it rolling and maybe be looking down and not paying attention. No, he's paying attention. All right. Bye, everybody.